Si Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez po ay nagbitiw na po sa pwesto. So basahin po natin yung kanyang inilabas na statement. I have asked permission to step down as Executive Secretary. There is nothing more rewarding than answering the call to serve the country, a rare privilege not extended to all but was given to me by the President, His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. The work of an Executive Secretary is a 24/7 job with myriad topics expected to be attended to every day. It demands a sense of urgency, which essentially requires almost all of a public servant's time to ensure that services are met and delivered. Equally valuable, however, is to witness firsthand your young family grow and evolve into how every parent would wish them to become and they most need me to. I thank the President for his continuing trust and his sincere understanding of my decision. To the Filipino people, I shall continue serving you and the country as the Presidential Chief of Staff. So ayan nga po, nagbitiw na nga sa pwesto si Attorney Vic Rodriguez. So hindi na po siya ang Executive Secretary pero mananatili pa rin po siya sa gobyerno bilang Presidential Chief of Staff. So ito naman yung statement na galing sa Office of the Press Secretary ngayong araw, September 17, 2022. Rodriguez steps down as Executive Secretary, gets appointed as Presidential Chief of Staff. Executive Secretary Victor Rodriguez on Saturday stepped down from his position as Primus Inter Pares after he got permission from President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to do so. I have asked permission from the President to step down as Executive Secretary effective immediately. I thank the President for his continuing trust and his sincere understanding of my decision, Rodriguez said. Rodriguez said the work of an Executive Secretary is a 24/7 job with myriad topics expected to be attended to every day that demands a sense of urgency, which essentially requires almost all public servants' time to ensure that services are met and delivered. Equally valuable, however, is to witness firsthand your young family grow and evolve into how every parent would wish them to become, and they most need me to, he said. With Rodriguez stepping down as Executive Secretary, he was appointed by the President as Presidential Chief of Staff, or PCS, a new position created by Administrative Order No. 1 signed over the weekend by the Chief Executive. The draft special order, which sought additional functions to what was already provided under AO No. 1, was disapproved by President Marcos based on the recommendation of his Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, Juan Ponce Enrile. The newly created Office of the Presidential Chief of Staff, or OPCOS, will be under the direct supervision of the President. The OPCOS shall have the primary function of supervising and ensuring the efficient and responsive day-to-day operational support to the Presidency to enable the President to focus on strategic national concerns. Read the AO No. 1, which took effect immediately. Signed this week by the President, the administrative order provides for the PCS to have the rank and emoluments of a cabinet secretary. The PCS will be assisted by a senior deputy chief of staff with the rank of secretary and 2 deputy chiefs of staff with the rank of undersecretary, assistant secretaries, and such number of directorial and other administrative staff as he deems necessary and upon the approval of the President. Read AO No. 1. The immediate staff of the PCS will come from abolished agencies such as the Office of the Cabinet Secretary and the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. Rodriguez will immediately assume his new position as PCS. This, in effect, will leave vacant the Office of the Executive Secretary, or OES. There are names now being considered for the position of Executive Secretary, and these names are now under the process of vetting by the Office of the President. As provided for in AO No. 1, the OES shall continue its supervision, control, and oversight function over all the agencies and offices under and attached to the Office of the President or OP pursuant to Executive Order Number 1. AO Number 1 provides for the Presidential Management Staff or PMS and the Office of the Press Secretary or OPS to assist and support the PCS. In a nutshell, the OPCOS will serve as the coordination mechanism of the Office of the President. It will be in charge of the President's security monitoring system, which shall be responsible for providing regular situation reports to the President on a real-time basis. The OPCOS will also supervise and coordinate closely with the PMS as the primary government agency directly responsible for providing substantive staff assistance in the presidential exercise of the overall management of the development process. The Presidential Chief of Staff will also coordinate closely with presidential advisors and assistants whose outputs shall be submitted to the President through the OPCOS copy furnished by the Executive Secretary. So ayan nga po mga kababayan, nagbitiw na nga po si Attorney Vic Rodriguez bilang Executive Secretary. So sa kasalukuyan, wala pong Executive Secretary at ang bagong posisyon nga po ni Attorney Vic Rodriguez ay siya daw ang magiging Presidential Chief of Staff.